So Sherlock, Episode 1, Series 1, because it's a British show, Series 1, A Study in Scarlet. Now, as of this recording, the original, or Season 4, premiered on Sunday, which was about 4 days ago. So, I thought, hey, why not give you some reviews on Sherlock, the entire series, because it's not that bad. It's like 3 episodes per season. It's been like three seasons already. If you're in America, if you're in Britain, it's series. So there's been 3 series and 3 episodes each. However, it's a little bit more ambitious because I remembered, quite honestly, that each episode is an hour and a half long, which is about the runtime of a basic movie. So each episode is a movie, which works in their favor, but anyway. And yeah, I've watched all the episodes already up to Season 4. I just haven't written notes for anything and analyzed it fully. So, until now. So, here we go. Episode 1, A Study in Scarlet. Alright, so, what's this series about? It's about Sherlock in the 21st century, you know? Sherlock Holmes, when Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, hopefully I pronounced his name right, but what this guy did was he incorporated Sherlock in his time. Sherlock was in the 1800s, but it gradually became synonymous with that time. But from my understanding, Arthur Conan Doyle, he wanted it to progress. You know, he wanted Sherlock to progress with the times. However, he didn't live long enough to keep on making books or whatever, and he died very early on in the 1900s. But, yeah. So with this series, what they're trying to do is bring Sherlock into the 21st century. And to everyone's surprise, they did that pretty well. I mean, it's almost flawless. Yeah, you know, it's almost flawless how Sherlock can be put into any time frame, really. He can be in the caveman era and he can be awesome, honestly, if they did it right. Here in the 21st century, they did it right. And of course, I remember what happened in the early books of Sherlock Holmes. I don't know everything, but I did know that Dr. Watson, before he was Sherlock's sidekick or whatever, he fought in the Afghan War, because apparently Britain was expanding their empire, I guess, and they were fighting, trying to get Afghanistan into their empire. Not totally sure if they did or not, whatever. Ancient history. Anyway, the start of this episode is Dr. Watson remembering the tragedy of war. Because now, in the 21st century, we are currently, pulling out of it, of course, but we're currently in Afghanistan. The United Nations is in Afghanistan right now. We're pulling out, of course, but technically we're still in there. And even in this time, back when the episode 1 premiered, we were still in Afghanistan. So it's mind-boggling how close they could put it to the original source material. It's mind-boggling, really. And before we go on, let's just talk about the characters, okay? The main characters, the standout characters, the main actors of these people: Dr. Watson, Martin Freeman. They have really close names, whatever. This guy, okay, he was Bilbo Baggins for a reason, okay? This guy is flawless job. He is awesome in this series. I mean, yeah, he is finicky, he is kind of stubborn sometimes. He plays the character very, very well. And, even in the books, you know, in the Sherlock Holmes books, he's writing them. You know, he's writing the books. And he's distributing them to all over London and all that. In this show, they updated a little bit. Now, Martin Freeman, Dr. Watson, is writing a blog. Yeah. He's writing a blog about all their adventures and all that, which is pretty perfect. I mean, yeah, I mean, to us Americans, blogging's kind of like, I mean, you can make your own website, you know, you don't have to make a blog. No one really, I haven't heard a lot of people who have very highly successful blogs, but I don't know, maybe they're still popular. I would say they were more popular in the 2000s and not now. But then again, this did come out in 2010, so what do I know? Maybe it's still popular in the UK. I don't know. I haven't been there. I should go there, but whatever. Yeah. So I'll tell you what, though. He is playing Martin Freeman. Martin Freeman as Dr. Watson, he's pretty much Martin Freeman, as we all know, but it works for the character, okay? Martin Freeman was the perfect casting for this character, in my opinion, so there we go. The whole show's updated for the 21st century, I already covered that. I'll tell you what, though, the intro is pretty good as well. The music in this show, especially in this intro, it introduces the music, but you hear it throughout the show, this episode. It seems a little bit updated too, you know. Normally you get the detective songs, I guess. Dun 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 dun. You know, a little creepy kind of maneuvering songs, but these songs, the whole score really, especially in the theme song, but the whole score is kind of feels like it's updated as well, you know? It goes dun 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 dun. It goes, trying to replicate it. It's really hard, but it goes like dun 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 dun. You know? Honestly, the score is fantastic, okay? It feels like it's updated, which is good because the entire show is updated from the books. So there you go. It's very, very good. Very good. I'll tell you also, this is entirely a lot better than what they tried with Elementary. Elementary is just terrible, but this show, okay, it's a British show, first off, so coming from a British line of books, so they know what they're doing. Second off, BBC, okay, BBC's like pumping out all these great shows. So, even back then, I think, you know, so Sherlock kind of guaranteed to be good, you know? BBC is kind of like the main networking, I guess, to the supposed Netflix, okay? Netflix is pumping out all these great shows, some bad, some good, most good. BBC's pumping out a lot of shows, most good, maybe some bad. I don't know. I don't watch every show, but some good, most good, and some bad, you know? There you go. Kind of like the Netflix of the corporate main channels, you know, like ABC, NBC, CBS, all that stuff. So there you go. It's an intriguing opening for the mystery, you know. We get introduced to it. We get introduced to it while we're introduced to the main characters, and it's very good, okay? We get into the we get into the mystery. People, you know, about to take pills and they're really scared. They don't know we don't really know what's going on, but that's the whole thing about the mystery, and it's very, very intriguing to me. Let's see what else. The editing in this show is very, very good, and I'll explain later after I introduce the main star of the show, Sherlock Holmes, Benedict Cumberbatch. This guy is freaking amazing, man. He is undoubtedly, but this cemented Benedict Cumberbatch as a great actor, okay? This is the whole reason why he's Doctor Strange. He's in The Imitation Game. This was like his really big explosion into the household name, you know? And he's freaking fantastic, okay? Although, people have compared him, and I have seen this, people have compared him, especially in 2010, when this show was on the rage still on its high notes. People have compared him to the British Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory. And to them I say, yeah, I kind of see it, but I would say he's better because the show is better, consistently better than The Big Bang Theory, and Sheldon Cooper is not really a well-written character, especially after 10 seasons with 25 episodes per season. Even with all that development, they can't go anywhere more with the character, so they're just writing crap for him now. The short seasons of the show actually works for him, I guess, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but I think it kind of works for him. Sherlock is written a lot better than Sheldon Cooper is what I'm trying to say. So there we go. Let's see what else. His jokes work, man. His jokes is awkward comedy, which works for the show. And by the way, the entire comedy, all the comedy in this show, it works for the show, you know? It works for the episode. You know? I mean, it works. It's like the comedy drama. It's kind of like The Martian. You know, if anyone's watched The Martian, you know this. But there was some comedic elements incorporated into the drama, you know, just to be like, hey, life isn't one gloomy gust, you know? There's some comedic elements to life. Thank God, because we all probably would, I don't know, we all probably hate ourselves because we don't have any fun with our lives. Comedy is fun. We have fun in our lives. We have comedy in our lives, and Sherlock incorporates that into it. I think the comedy in this show is freaking fantastic. All around, you know? All around. Awesome. And now back to the editing. The editing with Sherlock, and something that Elementary failed to do, and something that Sherlock Holmes, the Robert Downey Jr. movies, also they tried, but they failed to do. We get to see what Sherlock sees, you know? What makes Sherlock tick? How does he analyze everything? What does he analyze, you know? We see what Sherlock sees with these close-ups, you know? It's like very fast-moving pictures and all that. And we see, like, calculations that's going on in his mind. We see what he sees on texts and all that. I mean, the editing is just freaking awesome, okay? It's simply glorious. Thank you for finally allowing us to see what Sherlock sees, because as of now, I read like one book, I guess, all the way through, one story of Sherlock, and even then, I don't really know a lot about how he kind of put the pieces together, except at the very end. Here, we see how he connects all the pieces to the puzzle as the show goes on. Elementary, we don't get that. Sherlock Holmes, the movie franchise with Robert Downey Jr., we don't get that. Sherlock, the BBC show, we get that. Thank you for incorporating that. It was awesome. Fantastic. What else? Molly, his crush, I guess. I don't even know how he has a crush, but she's pretty good. She's pretty good, you know, she's kinda cute, you know, she's trying to make Sherlock notice her, but every time she tries, she fails because Sherlock gets it right off the bat because he's an analyst. He analyzes everything, you know? And yeah, I felt kind of sorry for her, honestly. Yeah, Molly, you know, yeah, my heart breaks for her, honestly, my heart breaks for her. Let's see. Mrs. Hudson, Mrs. Hudson, man, a lot of comedy comes for her. Because, just in the way she interacts with the guys, man, she's just awesome. She's great. She's great at, she's great at the whole comedic aspect to it. She's kind of like the funny character, I guess, the comedic character to Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. And yeah, most of the comedy comes from her because she is kind of like a normal, you know, even though and most of the comedic elements might be coming from Watson, you would think, but Sherlock is like this hugely smart guy. Dr. Watson, he's a doctor, okay? He's going to be somewhat, at least half as smart as Sherlock is. And he can follow along what's going on. Mrs. Hudson, we don't know, okay? She's like the character, she's like us, you know? She's like, what the heck? What's all this stuff, you know? She's the exact same way. Awesome. Fantastic, okay? Awesome. Mrs. Hudson, I'm looking forward to seeing you more. Hopefully you're in more of these episodes. Well, actually, I do know she's in more of the episodes, but yeah, honestly, I'm looking forward to seeing you in more of the episodes. So there we go. The eventual team-up of Sherlock and Dr. Holmes, it's okay. It serves the story. However, I believe it's a little bit too rushed, you know? Which is surprising because it was one of my complaints with it, but I'll get to that later. It rushes it a little bit. Probably because we gotta get the story rolling and all that, I guess. An hour and a half. You would think you have time for the eventual team-up to be perfect, but I guess you don't. Because the mystery in the story takes precedence, I guess, over that, more or less. The eventual team-up is pretty good, okay? I'm not criticizing it, I just think it's a little bit too rushed. That's all I'm saying. What else? They updated the famous Sherlock, quote, you know, the game's afoot. I think that's the quote, I'm not completely sure, but now he says the game is on. Now people will kind of get it more. British people especially, because it's a British show and they use British language, you know. Americans, another criticism, I'll get into it, but we'll save that for the end. What else? The chemistry between Freeman and Cumberbatch is amazing, okay? These two play off of each other like they were brothers, and it is simply awesome, okay? It's simply awesome. I have no complaints with this. These are very talented, very awesome actors, okay? They're in the MCU, for crying out loud, okay? Even though Benedict Cumberbatch is an actual superhero and Martin Freeman's like the new Agent Coulson for the cinematic universe and not the TV universe, but he's kind of the new Agent Coulson. But anyway, they've been in other projects together. They work off each other. They're good friends. You see it in this episode especially, and in the whole show, honestly. But there you go. Sally, I mean, she's alright. We don't really see her all that much, I guess. We see her a lot in this episode, though. She's okay. She doesn't take crap from anybody. I kind of related to her a lot. What she says about Sherlock was actually kind of intriguing, whereas he really enjoys the mystery. Sherlock really enjoys the mystery. To the point that he might, if he gets really bored, he might create a mystery. He might kill somebody just so he can have a mystery to solve, I guess. You know? I mean, and also, I guess getting off, you get off on something, I guess that means that you have, I guess, a, you really like it, like in a sexual kind of way, I guess. I guess that's a sexual slang term in the UK, because I've never heard of it. I'm pretty sure that's a sexual thing. Whatever. A little bit of trivia for you. There you go. What else? And they say it throughout the show. Okay, they say it throughout, but there you go. It has excellent design work, man. The visuals are simply glorious. It is. They put everything into it, okay? They don't cheapen anything. They just put everything out there. If the audience doesn't like it, then they'll, whatever, you know? But at least they know that they tried their best. And they put all of it, their heart, their soul, all of the money into the show. You can see it in the design work, in the camera work, and all that. And it's awesome. Simply awesome. What else? Anderson. I think they were setting him up to be a foe for Sherlock, but you don't really see him. I guess I'm in the middle of episode 2 now for this series 1, and you don't see him a lot after that. So yeah, that's kind of a weak spot there, but honestly, he was okay. I just want to see a little bit more of him, you know? But anyway, alright, said that. The story, as I've been saying throughout this thing, the story is solid. Very good. The mystery, it's believable, okay? They don't just pull something out of the cold blue and then just have a final solution that's like, I have no idea how in the heck they solve that. Because you can watch this episode again and be like, okay, I know what's going on, and it still makes sense to you, you know? It's not like a cop-out or anything. You still believe it. You believe that the beginning of the mystery, up till the end of the mystery, it's a good mystery, something that a person can actually solve, if they are like Sherlock Holmes, I guess. So there we go. What else? There are some, there's something that's going on with pretty much every show that has two main characters that are best friends. You know, The Lord of the Rings, Samwise and Frodo kind of had this too, where they're so close and they're so really good friends that people think they're gay. And people have said that about Sherlock and Watson sometimes too, and they can actually kind of poke fun at it. You know, people all the time say, "You guys gay?" Martin Freeman's like, "No, we're not gay. We're straight." You know, that's actually pretty funny, especially. And there's actually this one diner scene that's like Sherlock and Watson are actually talking about whatever their sexual preferences, and you know, and they're both straight, but they're kind of like, you know, they say it's okay, but they're not. You know, that's hilarious. Okay, if you're a big fan of Sherlock, you will get it. It is simply awesome. Really good comedic element right there. And you see it throughout the show as well. You know, you see little bits of it throughout, you know, and it is pretty funny. It's a good thing to come back to, I think. They don't you know, make fun of gay people. They're just saying, no, we're not gay, but gay's okay. So there we go. What else? Oh yeah, so a little bit more something in Sherlock. They're updating. Apparently, Sherlock doesn't smoke. He has nicotine patches that he patches on and all that. And apparently, he still uses some drugs, I guess. I don't know what the drugs are. They don't specifically say it. I think it's morphine, if that's what they used in the books, I guess. Maybe it's cocaine. I'm not completely sure on it, but I know it's like morphine or cocaine or something like that. I think it's cocaine, but I don't know, whatever. What else? The eventual solving of the mystery in the flat, that is awesome. That's fantastic editing. You're really intrigued in the story and all that. That's like the highlight of this entire episode for me. It was like when Sherlock finally put together all the pieces of the puzzle, laid them all out, you know? Awesome. Very good. Makes a lot of sense. The creepy cab driver, spoiler alert, if you guys, whatever. The end of the mystery, it's the cab driver that's poisoning people, making them try to play a game with them. And honestly, he's a good actor too, you know? He's pretty good. I mean, he plays the creepy character really, really well. I got some creepy vibes from him. Especially from him. I mean, he seems pretty real to me, honestly, so there you go, I guess. There's a prelude to a fan that might be Sherlock's worst enemy. And listen, I'm not a big Sherlock fan, but even I know that it's Moriarty, okay? His arch enemy, if you will. And yeah, it looks like Moriarty's like putting together all these pieces, putting out his pieces, like tempting Sherlock and all that. He's like trying to see what Sherlock's all about, you know, using his intellect. So yeah, it's really good. It's almost like what the MCU is doing, you know, with like the Avenger films, you know. First, Thanos sent down the the Loki and the Chitauri. There we go. Sent out the Chitauri. That failed. See if Earth could be taken over easily, but they can't because he has the Avengers. And then he was seeing like what was going on with in Age of Ultron, I guess, if they could kind of take over themselves, but I guess they couldn't. Then also in Guardians of the Galaxy, he was in there. I don't know if he did anything, but he was sitting in a chair, whatever. But it's kind of like that, you know. He's sending people to try and, you know, test Sherlock out, you know. He's trying to test Sherlock out, see if he can be broken easily. If he can't, now he's gonna be challenging him, you know, and all that, which is really good. Fantastic. Minecraft, who's Sherlock's brother, is eventually found out, and he's not that bad either, you know. Even after, if you watch the episode again, you can kind of still see that he's kind of really concerned for him. He's actually his brother, you know. And honestly, Benedict Cumberbatch's and this guy's chemistry was very good. It was believable. It was awesome. What more can I say? I mean, also the ending. My gosh, you know, just the Watson and Sherlock just walking in slow-mo. It kind of got, you kind of got the little, you kind of got goosebumps after that, you know? It's just, that, honestly, anything in slow-mo is pretty good, but after everything we've been through, the ending with them laughing, walking in slow-mo, it was pretty good, you know? It was a pretty good ending to a pretty good show. It's a pretty good ending to an awesome show. There we go. There's a couple things that are bad. It's not a perfect episode. A couple things that are bad. For Americans, it's going to be hard to understand everything because they talk very, very fast, especially Sherlock. Sherlock talks super fast, okay? It's going to be hard for you guys to understand. You're probably have to watch the episode a couple times to actually to understand it for the most part. It took me a couple times to actually see what the heck he said, especially Sherlock. What Sherlock said, you know? So there we go. The meeting with Mycroft and Watson was kind of out of left field for me. It was really... It just came out of nowhere. But we had to introduce Mycroft. We had to do it. It was okay, but it just seemed a little bit of out of place, you know? Sherlock, I mean, Watson was just trying to get a taxi, but then Mycroft appears and all that, and yeah, it's really out of place, and it kind of took me a little bit out of the episode, but, I mean, other than that, that's it, man. That's all that's bad in an hour and a half episode of a TV show. Honestly, I would expect more problems, but there wasn't any more. You know, there wasn't any more. It was awesome, okay? This episode is fantastic. I highly suggest you go out and watch it. You probably have already, if you're watching this already. If you're watching this, because season 4, I almost said series 4, I'm not British. Season 4 just came out. That's rock and rolling. It'll be episode 2 will be on next Sunday. Hopefully I'll get these out to you guys before the recap all the episodes up until the episode 3 of series 4, season 4, whatever. So yeah, comment, subscribe to the channel. More Sherlock coming your way. Take care.